Let me tell you a story, and bear with me on this one, okay? A little while ago I was talking to a female YouTuber friend of mine over bubble tea. We were talking about trolls, internet bullies, you know, the jerks in the comments. I was saying how lucky I felt that I don't really get haters on my videos, and explaining this kind of half-baked theory I have that we as content creators are at least somewhat responsible for our audience, how we can, at least to some extent, set the tone and curate their response and behaviour. You know, a cute guy playing with his fringe will attract fangirls, a tech channel will attract geeks, and so on. My friend listened attentively and then said, "You've expressed that beautifully, but what you're actually doing is victim blaming." She told me about the kinds of infantile crap she had to put up with on every new video she posted, the objectification, the misogyny, the sexual harassment thinly veiled as compliment, you know, 10 out of 10 would bang from a total stranger. "Is that my fault?" she said. "Because I'm a reasonably attractive woman who chooses to express herself creatively?" And I felt terrible. Not because I thought I was wrong, but because I thought I'd been misunderstood. I wasn't talking about blame, I wasn't talking about fault. I wasn't suggesting any kind of moral argument at all. I was talking about the practical realities of the world we live in, saying that with absolute moral neutrality, whether it's right or wrong, fair or unfair, if you take a certain action, there are always certain consequences you should expect. Note, not condone, not be happy with, not accept as your moral just desserts, but expect. What I meant when I said that to my friend was that if you leave the door to your house unlocked, you should expect someday to get burgled. I didn't mean it was right that you should get burgled, but that you shouldn't be surprised when it happens, because that's the world we live in. Any sensible person who doesn't want to get burgled should put a lock on their door. And I reasoned in my half-thought-through way. Whether it's right or wrong, and for the record I think it's really wrong, any woman making videos on YouTube who doesn't want to put up with this kind of nonsense should do her best not to encourage, invite or exacerbate it by avoiding making certain kinds of content, you know, sexy, edgy content, or the kind of content usually dominated by men. Science, technology, engineering or mathematics. I figured if women want to make edgy content or STEM content, they just better be prepared to endure and ignore endless, puerile abuse, objectification and bullying in the comments, because that's the world we live in. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. But that's victim blaming, my friend said, and I felt terrible because I felt like part of the problem, when deep down I know I want to be part of the solution. Victim blaming. And even though I still don't think she quite had it right, I couldn't get it out of my head. So I spoke to some more people, I did some reading, and I discovered that this kind of jerkitude is pretty much ubiquitous in one form or another and in varying degrees, no matter who you are or what kind of content you make. Perhaps most significantly of all, I watched this video by Emily Gracely and the Brain Scoop, which describes, better than I ever could, the kinds of utter drivel and negativity female content creators have to endure with every new video, as well as some of the ways it can hold them back. It's really well worth a watch. Anyway, this helped me realise I don't just hate this, I'm fundamentally not okay with this. I am fundamentally not okay with the idea of any of the amazing, talented people in this incredible community being held back, restricted and discouraged, just so that some morons can have a bit of a laugh. I'm not okay with women or anyone having to fight their way through abuse and negativity just to do what they're good at, what they love. I can't just let it be and say put up with it. That's not good enough. Because this here is hard enough without hate, without trolls, without bullying. I honestly don't think I'd still be doing this if I had to put up with some of the crap my friends deal with on a regular basis. I've had one serious piece of hate on a music video I uploaded to my record label's channel a couple of years ago. Someone was slightly less than complimentary about my physique, and it sucked. I'm not even a particularly self-conscious person, but it made me just inert with rage for like 2 days. It negatively affected the way I looked at my work, it made it significantly less fun for me. I'm just so glad I don't have to deal with that on a regular basis. And maybe this will be the start of it for me, but I don't care. I won't sit idly by and tacitly consent to my friends and the people I admire being treated like this any longer. I won't watch them being held back, limited, and say, toughen up, adapt, that's the way the world is, because it's not the way the world should be. This is real life, and real people make these videos. It's not okay to be a jerk to someone just because you're talking from another room or another country. You wouldn't walk down the street pointing and yelling at strangers, fat, ugly, hate your shoes. You wouldn't go up behind somebody you'd never met before in a pub and say, couldn't help but over here, I think you'll find it's pronounced glacier. It doesn't matter how right you think you are, you're being a jerk. You wouldn't stand up at a gig and shout, she's a terrible singer, but I'd still do her, because you're a human being, and so is she. Think about what you're saying. Ask yourself, would I say this to their face? Because they made the video, they're there. Chances are they're looking at the comments. Don't be negative. Don't be needlessly critical. Don't be bitter. Don't be nasty. Don't be sexually inappropriate. In short, don't do anything you wouldn't do if you were meeting someone in the flesh for the first time. Don't be a jerk. Instead, be nice. Be kind. Be positive and supportive and fun and sincere and witty and pleasant and encouraging. Be cool. Be good. And if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. That's seriously okay. The thing is, we know this already. I'm not expecting to change the world just by saying a bunch of stuff you've heard before. This jerkitude is not going to stop. I can't stop it. We're all going to have to keep on ignoring it and rising above it. But what I can do, and what we can all do one by one, is stand up and say, I denounce jerkitude. I have no time for people who are jerks, who troll and bully and snigger and snipe and make good people feel bad. And this is not just about women on YouTube. This is not just about gender or sexuality or race or religion. This is about all of life. I utterly discard people who are jerks, who drop litter, who are cruel, who take without giving. And it's not just going to go away. But the only way we can start to fix this problem is to come out and say, it's not going to fly with me. I denounce jerkitude, and I invite you to do the same, in a video, in a tweet, whatever feels comfortable for you. I've written a little script in the description in case you don't want to write your own, but it doesn't really matter what you say. What matters is how you feel, and I for one feel like it's not okay to be a jerk. It's almost never funny, and it's absolutely never funny when it's directed at somebody who's trying their best to do a good job of being them, even if they do happen to be totally hot. I'm not saying we shouldn't have differing opinions. I'm not saying we shouldn't be able to discuss things. I'm just saying we should do so in a positive, constructive, friendly, courteous, open-minded manner, or just keep our thoughts politely to ourselves. I denounce jerkitude. Let's just be good to each other. Thanks for listening.